I do have to let everybody know before we get started that trading does have its own form of risk involved. So you should never invest money that you can't afford to lose, and always trade with equity management in mind. There is no such thing as an undefeated season. You may incur losses from time to time, but the key is to really keep your profits high and have minimal losses. And I will show you what I mean by that when we do, of course, enter into the live market. Now, Reed, once again, he did an incredible introduction. I appreciate that, my friend. As he said, I did go to University of Central Florida. I did get accepted into law school. And really, for the past few years now, I've been coaching and mentoring people, on essentials necessary to succeed in the marketplace. For the past 14 months now, I've actually been coaching and teaching people how to successfully trade the Forex market. And that's really what leads me here today. Kind of fast forward real quick. I did what the system of life told me to do. Go to school, get a good education, go get a good job. And it just kind of left a lot to be had. I was running out of money early on in the month, and it just didn't really add up. And that's when I knew I needed something else. And that's ultimately what led me to investigate and take a look at what this trading thing is all about. Now, let me just introduce to you MTI and explain to you what they actually do. This is the company that I do, of course, represent. MTI stands for Market Traders Institute, and it's an education company. They are the first and the oldest Forex trading institute on the planet. They have been in existence since April of 1994, and they are based out of Lake Mary, Florida, which is right near Orlando, about 20-25 minutes from Disney World. They are the largest Forex educator as far as actual support infrastructure in the Forex market. And if you think about anything at all, think about this: 21 years in the market, okay, over 30,000 clients, and that's longevity. I'm not somebody who likes gimmicks. There's a lot of companies out there that want to simply provide you with something gimmicky, and they expect for you to succeed and win. But what I want you to know is that MTI was built by a trader for traders. Now, take a look where it says right there, investing in our students in 2014. You will notice it says $2,482,462 and over 89,000 resource hours. I tell you that once again because what our purpose is not just to provide you with something, but we literally put back into our students, work side by side with them. It's just what we do. And so I just like to build up a little bit of credibility because I think credibility is everything. Now, I want you to pay attention to one more thing real quick. Every quarter, brokers, they have to request profitability information from their traders. Well, last quarter, MTI did the same exact thing, but for all of our students. And the results are very, very clear. So MTI students were 85% more likely to profit than the average trader out there. And once again, don't take my word for it. The proof is in the numbers. But how many of you would feel that much more confident, knowing the credibility backed by what you're going to be seeing? And so instead of me just showing you the live market right away, I do like for you to understand and know kind of who backs me and what I'm going to be showing you. Now, not only does MTI have some of the absolute best strategies, but MTI also has some of the absolute best expert Forex instructors and analysts in the Forex industry. Now, one specific instructor I want to make note of, his name is Joshua Martinez. He's also known as the FX Pathfinder. Now, if you're wondering why am I telling you about Josh, let me just give you a little bit of information on his background, and then of course I will tell you why I'm telling you all this. Josh is one of MTI's product experts. He has trained thousands of Forex investors. He has turned an initial deposit investment of $500 US and generated over $39,000 of profit. He's made thousands of Forex investments, published author, international speaker, pro analyst, and full-time trader. Now, why am I telling you all this? Because he's created a strategy that I'm of course going to be sharing with you today. And this strategy has really allowed him and even myself to do some pretty unbelievable things. For example, back in June 5th, 2011, he opened up his first trading account with just $500 US. And what this gave him the ability to do was to trade with a micro position. When he first started trading, maybe like many of you, he was only making around $2 to $5 per trade and losing $2 to $5 per trade. But when he started going through the education that Market Traders Institute offers, he started noticing patterns in the market. Now, if we fast forward, you'll notice that he was able to take time compounding and build residual income. And through the course, when he was able to put more money in, he certainly did. But he stuck with it, okay, and that ultimately taught him how to reinvest his money, how to compound, build residual income, and of course, when he was able to, he deposited money along the way. And this is what really allowed him to build up his account, which is what allowed him to see daily returns of up to $4,000 to $5,000 per day in profits. He was even withdrawing $10,000 at a time, and what once took him 6 months, working 5.5 days a week to make, as a personal trainer actually, he was now able to do in just one single day. Now, let me ask all of you this. How many of you would like to eventually learn this skill? You know, how many of you would like to get to a point where you can hone your skill to where you are able to see these type of returns and these type of profits from your trading account? You know, and I'm not saying that it's going to happen overnight in due time. Okay, nothing's going to happen overnight, but you know, the next 3-4 years, folks, is going to go by anyways. You're either going to be doing something productive or you're not. And so that was my philosophy: is why not just start learning the market, because time's going to move anyways. Now, real quickly, if you take a look at his track record, which is third-party verified, you'll see that he has a gain of 4,548.82% return on his initial deposit investment. Now, take a look at the bottom of the graph there. You'll notice the graph of his growth. It shows that he was making money and losing money over and over again, and all of a sudden things absolutely just spiked and took off. This is what we like to call a tipping point. And what my goal is, what I'm going to be doing today is I'm going to show you this exact strategy that's really been able to assist Josh and myself in finding our tipping points to assist you in finding your tipping point faster. All right. So with that being said, let's go ahead and let's get right into the market. Don't want to take up any more time here. When you see my charts up on your screen, can you all please be so kind to let me know that you do in fact see my charts and everything's good. Hey, Dar, don't worry, I will be showing you how to take advantage of it. All right. So, all right, perfect. Thanks, Kevin. Thanks, Mark. Thanks, Kayla and Josh and Stephanie and everybody else that is confirming you do see my charts up on the screen. All right. Now, first thing I want to do is I want you to understand that we do have 6 currency pairs in front of us here. This right here, what you're looking at, this is our ultimate charting software. This is the software that we do provide all of our students with here at Market Traders Institute who do decide to enroll in our Ultimate Traders Package on-demand program. Now, I know we have some experienced traders in the room. We also have some novice traders. And what I want you to do is I want you to go ahead and write down all 6 of these currency pairs. If it's easier for you, on the little screen there, okay, where it mimics my screen, you should see a camera on the top right-hand side. You can actually just click that, and it should allow you to, it will automatically save a snapshot to your desktop. Now, we have the Great British Pound Swiss franc. We have the Great British Pound US dollar. We have the Pound Japanese yen, the Pound Aussie or Pound Australian, the Great British Pound New Zealand, and the Pound Canadian. Now, as I mentioned, these are the 6 currency pairs that we're going to be utilizing and we're going to be applying to the specific strategy that I'm going to be covering today. And all of these currency pairs are on a 1-hour time frame. All right, so first thing I want to do is let's just go ahead and pull up the Pound Swiss. Now, let me just quickly kind of zoom in, and what is the very first thing that you notice when you take a look at the charts? All right, what's the first thing that kind of strikes your attention? You know, well, first thing that should strike your attention is how the market moves, right? The market moves in what you call a wave-like pattern, where it's going to form highs, it's going to form lows, it's going to form highs, it's going to form lows, and it's going to do this, okay, over and over and over again. Understand that it is a very predictable market, and one thing I'm going to actually get into here once I start explaining this is, yes, the market does in fact move in waves. Okay, here you'll notice the market takes a dip, then the market starts going up, and then it kind of moves in a channeling manner, if you will. But what you have to understand is what goes up must come down, and what goes down must come up. Now, what I want you to understand, okay, as far as these basic market movements is this. When the market's going up, the market's actually going up, making higher highs and higher lows, higher highs and higher lows. And what I mean by that is this. It goes up and it comes down. It goes up and it comes down. Okay, it goes up and it comes down. And that's what really allows us to take advantage of the market. And because it's on a 1-hour time frame, it's going to really allow you to see the strategy in a much better manner, if you will, because what we're going to be looking to do is take advantage of the market in a very fast manner, if you will. So we're looking to get in and get out. And one of the great things about the Forex market, folks, compared to other markets, is that if you want to buy the Forex market, just buy it. Okay, and if you want to sell the market, just sell it. There's not many options. You can either only buy or sell. So understand that you have a 50-50 chance of being right or being wrong just by simply guessing. Which means if you had a decent strategy, right, the chances are going to fall highly in your favor. How many of you agree with me on that? Awesome. So what I want to do is let me go ahead and show you and break down the strategy for you on a blank part of the screen. It's spatially going to be a lot easier for you to follow along and understand, and then I will be bringing it to the live market and showing you how it actually holds true. So first things first is what I want you to understand, especially for those of you that are taking notes. One of the areas that the market has provided us with is that the market will provide us with, let me just go ahead and grab my trend line there. All right. So the market will provide us with something known as a low and or a high. And it will do this for us 2 times a day. Now, the first high or low of the day, all right, I'm going to go ahead and type this out for those of you that are taking notes. So we have a high and a low down here, and we have a high and a low up there. Now, the first high or low of the day, okay, that is going to form, anywhere between the hours of 2 a.m. Eastern Time and 5 a.m. Eastern Time. Okay? Now, the second high or low of the day, that is going to form anywhere between the hours of 8 a.m. Eastern Time and 2 p.m. Eastern Time. Now, let me ask you all this question. Based on that, how many of you agree that the first high or low of the day between 2 a.m. and 5 a.m. is going to be much, much easier to find than the high or low from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m.? So we have a shorter gap versus a larger gap. How many of you agree with me? Awesome. Okay, see, everyone's definitely on the same page. And so what I want you to know is that what we're going to be doing today is we're going to be focusing in on the first high or low of the day, and in specific regards to the 3 a.m. candle. All right, so as we move along and I focus in on the 3 a.m. candle, a lot of you might be saying, well, didn't you say 2 a.m.? I did, but 3 a.m. candle is the candle that we're going to wait for, okay, for it to actually finish and complete itself so that we can focus in on that, on the strategy itself. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is this. In the market, all right, and this is very important to know, the distance covered between the low and the high, or the high and the low of the day, this is known as your average daily trading range. And if you're taking notes, I want you to write this down, okay, average daily trading range. And the average daily trading range, okay, that can be anywhere between 50 pips, okay, and 200 pips. Now, what we're going to be doing is on every trade that we place, we're going to be going after a minimum, okay, a minimum of 50 pips on each trade that we place. Okay, now, it could be more. We could be going after more than 50 pips, but we will not be going after less than 50 pips. And I'll show you what I mean by that, of course, when we do start moving along in the market. Now, let's just go ahead and talk about the last thing here. The question is, what is a pip and what is it worth to me? If you're not familiar with what a pip is, PIP actually stands for price interest point. That's what we're trying to collect. We want pips. Pips are good. Okay. Now, based on your investment, okay, that's going to depend on what your ROI will be. So for example, there's 3 major lot sizes traded in the Forex market. And once again, depending on which lot size you trade, that will depend on what your ROI will be. So for example, the smallest lot size available is called a micro lot or micro position. Okay, this is going to actually be a $20 investment, and 1 pip, okay, is worth 10 cents. Now, the next lot size available, this is known as a mini lot or mini position. This is a $200 investment, okay, and 1 pip is worth, excuse me, is worth $1. And then lastly, finally, the largest lot size available, this is known as a standard lot or a standard position. This is a $2,000 investment, and 1 pip is worth $10 US. Now, let me go ahead and ask you all this question. How many of you are with me so far? Let me get a Y for yes. Type in the word me. How many of you are with me so far? You're good to go. We're on the same page, and we keep moving here. I just want to make sure that everyone gets it. Everyone's good to go so far. All right, perfect. Thanks, Mark, Jonathan, Wayne, Gary, Sandy, Stash, Eva, and Mark, and everybody else for that. Now, let's just go ahead and give you some takeaways. And here's what I want you to know. It does not matter if you have to start off at a micro lot or a mini lot. It doesn't matter if you can't start off at a standard lot. Everybody has to start somewhere. I did not start off trading at standard lot position. But what I want you to know is that everything we're going to be doing today, I'm going to be using a standard lot as the example. I will not be talking about broker fees and spreads or anything like that. I'm going to keep it very, very simple and basic. All right, so once again, we'll be using a standard lot as the example. We'll be going after a minimum of 50 pips. Could be more, but it won't be less. And we're going to be focusing on the first high or low of the day between 2 a.m. and 5 a.m. All right? So let me just give you a quick second to make sure you have that jotted down. Hit the snapshot there, and I'm going to clean this up, and we are going to keep moving, all right? All right, perfect. Now, let's go ahead and go back to the charts here. And what I want to do is let me just quickly zoom in. I want to back this up, and I just want to quickly show everybody something. Now, first thing I want you to notice, okay, is how this market moves. And here's what I want you to take a look at. For example, take a look right here. Take a look at this dark blue candle, and I'm going to actually put an orange arrow right there. Now, can you please be so kind, type in Y for yes if you do in fact see that this is a 3 a.m. candle, and if you're wondering where I'm looking, take a look at the top left-hand side of the charts. You should see a box information tool that says 3 a.m. Does everybody see that? All right. So once again, 3 a.m. candle. Now watch this. Yes or no, does the market create a directional push down towards the south as the market moves on? Does the market move down, yes or no? Now watch this. How many pips did the market move within, let's just call it, 3 hours? It moved about 44 pips. And if we keep moving, how many of you noticed that by 9 a.m. the market moved 56 pips, or that could equate to 560 US dollars, right? A couple hours later, it moves down to over 80 pips. And once again, folks, the reason I'm showing you this is to give you just proper expectation of what the market does at 3 a.m. and how it actually moves in a very, very fast pace. Once again, here's a 3 a.m. candle. We see fast movement, and I'll just kind of show you one more. Here's another 3 a.m. candle, this white candle right here, and I'll even put an orange arrow right there, and that once again will show you there's a directional push up towards the north as the market moves along. All right. So does everybody now understand why we focus in on the 3 a.m. candle? Okay, because once again, it's going to allow us to take advantage of the market very fast. I could spend an hour or two explaining why the market does this. Okay, but once again, we teach that in our club. We teach that in the education. But let's just go ahead and show you how this strategy actually holds true. Right. So let me advance the market forward, and let me just go to really any example here. Let me just back the market up, and let's just go ahead and find the next 3 a.m. candle. So here we have a 2 a.m. candle, and here we go. Now, please be so kind, folks, to type in Y for yes. You can this candle right here, where I placed the orange arrow, that is in fact a 3 a.m. candle. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to hover over that. How many of you notice that is a 3 a.m. candle? All right, perfect. So once we identify the 3 a.m. candle, and I'm going to go ahead and I'll just type that out for all of you once again here. So 3 a.m. candle, and once we identify that, folks, this is now where the strategy is going to in fact begin. So the very first thing we're looking to do is we're going to place 2 horizontal lines, okay, at my 3 a.m. candle once that candle closes. Now, the first horizontal line, this is going to be known as my entry buy. My entry buy every single time, this is never going to change, is going to be plus 10 pips above my high. Okay? So once again, my entry buy will be plus 10 pips above the high every single time. The next horizontal line is going to be my entry sell, and my entry sell is going to be minus 5 pips below the low. And when I say below the low, I mean below the 3 a.m. wick low and above the 3 a.m. wick high. So let's go ahead and place those accordingly. So once again, let's move this up 10 pips, and that will take us to right there, right? So once again, we move this up 10 pips, and let's go ahead and place our entry sell minus 5 pips below the low, and that is going to take the market to, let's move this down. All right, and that's going to take us to right there. Now, is everyone with me so far? Does everybody understand what I just did? And what I want you to know, folks, is once again, this is never going to change. All right? Every morning, you're right, Dar. Every morning, it's going to be the same thing. Okay? Now, what we're waiting for, here's what I want you to understand, folks, is that we are not actually in the market buying or selling yet. These are nothing more than pending orders. What I'm waiting for is I am waiting for the market to cross either my entry buy or my entry sell zone, and that will determine to me if I'm going to buy the market or if I'm going to sell the market. So as we advance the market forward, let me ask you all this question. It's a given, right? But did the market cross my entry buy or my entry sell? Of course, right? It crossed my entry sell. Now what I want you to understand is that as the market moves, that candle is not just going to appear that size, okay? It's going to fluctuate, and the moment it crossed my entry sell zone, here's the first thing we're going to do, okay? First things first is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to delete my opposite order, okay? So once we identify the fact that we are going to, okay, sell the market right here, All right, we're going to delete our opposite order. So we're going to delete that. We're going to delete that horizontal line as well, because remember, it was the pending order. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to place my stop. Now, when we place our stop, here's what I want you to know. Okay, when I'm shorting the market, okay, we are going to place our stop plus 5 pips above the 3 a.m. wick high. Okay, so once again, my stop will go plus 5 pips above the 3 a.m. wick high. So let's move this up 5 pips. Right there. And for those of you that don't know what a stop is, just understand that a stop is really designed to protect you. If the market goes in the opposite direction that you're trading in, it's designed to protect you, right? So the stop, once again, is going to be plus 5 pips above 3 a.m. candle. All right. So once you go ahead, you delete your opposite order. Okay. You place your stop. Your stop is going to be right here. You are now, the question now becomes, well, how many pips am I going after? Well, here's how many pips you're going after. I'm going to measure my risk. Now, based on what we see, folks, how many pips am I risking? Who can tell me? Who can type in the number of pips that I'm risking based on what we see? If you take a look at the top left-hand side of the screen, the box information tool, look at the third line down, and that'll tell you how many pips. So we are risking, great job, Kevin, Wayne, we're risking 25 pips. Can everybody type in the number 25 just to make sure that everybody sees where I'm looking at? I just want to make sure that everybody, some people, if they don't see it, they won't say anything, but I just want to make sure you can see. Okay, perfect. Awesome. All right, now, so listen to this carefully, okay? If I'm risking anything less than 50 pips, I am going to go after a minimum of 50 pips. If my risk is greater than 50 pips, I'm going after whatever my risk is, all right? So in this case, my risk is 25 pips, so I'm going after 50 pips. So once again, 50 pips will bring me to all the way to the bottom of my screen. That's going to bring me all the way to 1.49426. So 49426. We'll bring that down here. And once again, folks, this is now going to be my limit. Okay, so once again, what am I doing? I'm going after 50 pips. So this right here, folks, and I'm going to go ahead and type it out for you. We're going after plus 50 pips, okay, reward. Now, once we go ahead and have this set up, last thing here, understand that your entry sell is now an actual market sell. Okay, you are now officially shorting the market. That's it, folks. Okay, you've protected yourself. You're going to live your life. You're going to do your thing. And let me ask you a question. Did the market fulfill our target, yes or no? Boom, right? Very simple, folks. And here's what I want you to understand. If you take a look at this, how many of you realize that your target was fulfilled and it's 6 o'clock in the morning? You've been sleeping. You woke up, you set this up, you went back to bed, and at 6 o'clock in the morning, you're done. You're out. And then the market will continue to kind of, do its thing. So how many of you like what you see so far? How many of you understand the strategy, you get it, makes sense, and you like what you see? So if we go ahead and I'm looking at the time here, okay, we got about 20 more minutes. So I'm going to spend about 10 more minutes in the live market, and then we're going to go ahead and start kind of winding down, showing you exactly how to become part of this exclusive club, what we're doing for everybody. So next thing I want to do is I want to show you the next example. So once you're done, folks, guess what? You're simply waiting for the next opportunity. And so what we have to do is we're going to wait, okay, for the next morning. And let me go ahead and find the next morning here. And by the way, I will be showing you live market for those of you that are wondering. We will be taking this out to live market. Not each trade, but I'm just going to fast forward to the live market. I just want to make sure you understand this. Now, here we go. Okay. So next opportunity, take a look. Here's my 3 a.m. candle. So at this point, understand that your 50 pip reward is now, okay, you're up 50 pips, or at a standard lot investment, $500 US profit. And how many hours did that take? 1, 2. So in 2 hours, okay, within 2 hours of when you hit your target, let's just call it 3 hours, okay, in 3 hours of when you got into the market, how many of you would be pretty excited if you were able to generate $500 US profit in about a 3-hour time frame? No problem, Stephen. No problem, but I'll cover that again, all right? So and I want you to think about that, folks. So a lot of people will try to, generate 10, 15, 20 pips throughout the whole day when you can literally just take advantage of the London breakout session. So once again, let's do this all over again. We have the 3 a.m. candle. So let me go ahead and delete this. Okay, let's delete that. And remember, folks, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and type this out one more time. So our entry buy, and let me just go ahead and delete that and clean everything up. Okay. Now, next thing. Okay, we're going to go ahead and place our entry buy and our entry sell. Now, where's my entry buy? Who can tell me? My entry buy is going to be, bingo, plus 10 pips above the high. You got it. So let's move this up 10 pips right there. My entry sell is going to be minus 5 pips below the low. Let's drop this down 5 pips. Right there, okay? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to type this out one last time for you. Okay, and I won't keep typing this out. But let me just type it out one last time for those of you that I just want to make sure everybody understands it, what these two lines are. So we have our entry buy. My entry buy is plus 10 pips above the high. And the second green line is going to be my entry sell. My entry sell is going to be minus 5 pips. All right, below the low. Now, once I have this all set up, folks, once again, these are pending orders. I'm waiting for the market to cross into one of my targets. Now, did the market hit my entry buy or my entry sell? The market crossed my entry buy. So I am now looking to buy the market, right? So once I identify that, first things first is we're going to delete our opposite order. Okay, we're going to delete all that. I'm going to set up my stop. Now, listen carefully. When I'm buying the market, I'm going to place my stop at the 3 a.m. wick low. So as when we're selling the market, we're placing it 5 pips above. When we're buying the market, we're placing our stop at the 3 a.m. wick low. Now, how many of you can tell me how many pips am I risking on this one trade? Who can tell me? How many pips are we risking? Yeah, John, it's the same thing every single time. Yep. So we are risking, okay, 33 pips. Does everybody see that? So if I'm risking 33 pips, how many of you can tell me how many pips will I be going after in my trade? How many pips am I going after? Bingo. John got it. John says 50 pips. 50 pips is correct, and here's why. Remember, if my risk is anything less than 50, I'm going after a minimum of 50 pips. So let's bring this out to 50 pips. Okay, this will bring us to all the way up here to 1.50221. So 50221, which will be right about there, okay? So once again, we're going after 50 pips. Okay, that's going to be our target. Once again, plus 50 pips, reward, and that's it, okay? Last thing is, remember, folks, our entry buy now officially becomes our market buy. We are now officially in the market, buying the market. You've protected yourself. Your stop is set. Your limit's set. You're now living your life, waiting for the market to take its course, do its thing. And did the market fulfill our target, yes or no? It absolutely did. So, folks, based on what you see, how many of you realize that on this trade, okay, within within 1, 2, 3, 4 hours, we fulfilled our target. So how many of you would be pretty excited if you were able to, another trade the next morning, you're up now $500 US profit, okay, in 4 hours. So the first morning you're up $500 US profit in 3 hours. The next morning you were able to fulfill that by 7 in the morning. You're probably still asleep, right? So if we go ahead and kind of bring this to the live market, all right, let's just kind of advance the market forward here, and let's see what the market's doing right now. And I want to just, I'm going to keep all this together here. But as I go ahead and do this, let me ask you all this question. How many of you are with me so far? How many of you like what you see? Okay, it makes sense. How many of you see yourself doing this? And how many of you, if there was an opportunity for you to exclusively be part of a club, okay, where you're following professional traders and analysts as they not only cover this strategy but multiple strategies, okay, showing you what the market's doing and how you can literally learn all of them, how many of you would like to be a part of something like that? So what I'm going to do now is this. I'm not going to type everything out because I'm looking at the time here. We're doing pretty good on time. I'm going to spend about 5 more minutes in the live market, and then I'm going to move forward here. but this is in fact this morning. So if you take a look right here, this is the Great British Pound Swiss franc, okay, and take a look right here. We have, of course, the live market. So that arrow always means live market. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to back the market up, and what I want to look for, okay, is I want to go ahead and find out where this morning is. So let's take a look. All right, so let's just go ahead and back this market up all the way down here, and let's see where we're at. So right now we are at, okay, this was yesterday, so let's advance the market forward. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, and 3 a.m. So this right here, folks, should in fact be our 3 a.m., and let's just go ahead and confirm it. Now, can everybody type in Y for yes? Is this our as a matter of fact, let me just advance the market forward a little bit more. Sorry about that. All right, here we go. Perfect. All right, now, so I took a look at the PM, not the AM. All right, so once again, folks, finally, here we go. So this morning, we have our 3 a.m. candle. And can everybody just confirm for me, are we on the 3 a.m. candle this morning? We are, right? So once we identify that, what I'm going to do is what? Once again, I'm not going to type this out, but I want to see how many of you are going to be able to tell me. Okay, we're going to do what? We're going to place our entry buy. Our entry buy is going to be plus 10 pips above the 3 a.m. wick high. Let's move this up 10 pips. And our entry sell is going to be where? Our entry sell is going to be minus 5 pips below the 3 a.m. wick low. So that's it, right? Once we have this set up, we're going to advance the market forward. Remember, I'm now looking for the market to take its course, do its thing. And as we advance the market forward, let me ask you, did the market in fact cross our entry buy or our entry sell? The market crossed our entry buy. So what am I going to do? I'm going to delete my opposite order. I'm now going to set up my stop. My stop will be at the 3 a.m. wick low. Why? Because I'm looking to buy the market. So we're protecting ourselves. Now, once we go ahead and have that set up, let me ask you this. How many pips are we risking on this one opportunity? How many pips am I risking? I'm risking 45 pips, right? Eastern time, Kevin. Eastern Standard Time. So if I'm risking 45 pips, I'm going after 50 pips, right? So if I'm going after 50 pips, that will take me to the 1.50566. So 50566, okay, right there. Once again, I'm going after 50 pips as my target. As we advance the market forward, folks, this morning, did the market fulfill our target, yes or no? This morning. That's the actual candle, but that one just kind of confirms it. So once again, folks, this morning, within 1, 2, 3 hours, we're up another plus 50 pips. Okay, or if we equate that to a dollar amount, at one standard lot, you're looking at approximately a $500 profit in 3 hours. So, folks, I have to keep moving on, okay? Because obviously we're running low on time. But how many of you find value in what I showed you today? And how many of you would be pretty excited if you were able to take advantage of this opportunity? Okay, if you were able to not only apply what I just showed you, but how many of you would be excited if you were able to apply it on 6 different currency pairs? And how many of you see yourself, waking up in the morning, even for those people that say, oh my gosh, 3 a.m., no way, right? Too early. How many of you would sacrifice 30 minutes to an hour of sleep time to set this up, go back to bed, if that meant that you're going to really, hey, Israel, that's a great question, my friend. I'm going to answer that for you, buddy, once I get off. Okay, I'll chat you. But how many of you honestly see yourself doing that? And that's the first thing. So I will tell you the Great British Pound, folks, is that one currency pair that we do utilize for this specific strategy. And as I mentioned before, we cover multiple strategies with multiple currency pairs, and it's all part of the club that I'm going to be talking about, all right? So, folks, once again, I showed you $1,500 US in 3 simple mornings. This morning alone, I actually placed that trade. We're up over 50 pips, okay? We're $500 US profit, a standard lot, and that's the beauty about it. Now, as we go ahead and kind of move forward, folks, I want you to know that if you're anything like me, then results matter. And if all this package did for you, okay, it was really allowed you to make, several hundreds or thousands of dollars per month, would it be worth the investment? Let's take a look at a few investors who actually started trading the market with MTI's guidance. They're clients of ours. Thomas says, I made $4,500 in my first week. He's a passive from Ontario, Canada. Anthony from Trinidad and Tobago says, I would say about a month after I started to see a return on my investment. An average month of trading, I'm making 3,000 plus pips. Peter Cook says, I did Josh's pound Australian. It took me to the limit. Just as Josh said, I did not move my stop. I didn't fiddle with the plan. I just bought, set my stop in limit, as we discussed, left it alone as the analysis was spot on, good for 80 pips, okay, or $800 US. And then let me show you one more here. Travis Nanowski says, still long on the pound Canadian, up almost 700 pips. Learned a long time ago, never take profits too soon. Equate that to 7,000 US. Now, if you're wondering, how is that even possible? How can you make that on the London Breakout? Remember how I told you that you're going to be learning multiple strategies? You know, type in a yes if you found this easy to follow, and if you thought this was easy to obey, and if you thought this was easy to execute. Yes, Tom, it absolutely is, my friend. Okay, because here are the stats from a day similar to this, where we generated 964 pips and took our profits just 11 days later. Because look, folks, when we look to host these sessions, okay, we look to generate income. And you know, when you have two professional Forex traders, let me just go ahead and introduce you to who you're going to be receiving in this exclusive club. The first is Joshua Martinez. We already talked about him. But the second is Chris Pulver. He is one of MTI's lead analysts. He's a private money manager. He's made thousands of Forex investments, published author. He's an international speaker. He knows how to get results, folks. And you know, for a lot of you, like even John, for those of you asking technical questions about that opportunity, I'm going to tell you right now that Josh and Chris do actually get into extensive detail with multiple strategies. Josh personally covers the London Breakout strategy, answers everything you need to know. You know, here's Samson Sweeting. He says, here are my trades from today. Thanks, MTI. Pound, you know, and if you take a look, 328 pips or 3,280 US profit, folks, in one day. Bobby Scott, my good friend, says, you know, thanks to MTI and Chris Pulver for helping me in so many reward to myself for having my first 1,500 pip week. It's over 15,000 US approximately at a standard lot. So here's what we're doing for all of you. Okay, we got about 7 minutes to wrap this up, and I am going to be doing something for some of you in the room today as well. So I want to help everybody in this webinar get involved by doing something we normally don't do every single time. Understand that normally this club is $297 a month. However, for those of you that make the decision to get involved right now today, okay, your one-time risk-free investment is just 27 US dollars. Okay, the cost of a meal, the cost of a nice shirt, literally, folks, that's it for your first 30 days of membership. Now, if you choose to continue on after that, each month it's not $297, it's just $147. Okay. However, what I want you to know is that you're not committing to 12 months or 6 months. This is a month-by-month thing. If this is something that you want to move forward with, and here's what else I'm going to tell you. If you take a look right now, folks, I'm going to literally chat everybody right now as we speak. I've just chatted everybody the link that I want you to click on, and this link is going to be how you're going to be able to take advantage of the opportunity. It's going to take you directly to our promo page. Understand that everything you are going to be receiving with the club, I haven't even got into that yet. Okay, I'm about to get into that. I just want to show you how to get involved real quick, and we'll talk about the club next. But once again, and listen, for those of you that maybe are saying, look, you know what, this is great, but what if it's not for me? This is why we're going to literally give everybody a 100% 30-day money-back guarantee. If for whatever reason you feel this club for $27 is not for you, we will literally refund your money, okay? 100%, no questions asked. Now, for the first 2 individuals that take advantage of this, okay, I've been given permission to allow you to let you know that we are going to be giving you, all right, the second month as well, okay? So for the first 2 individuals that lock this in to take advantage of this, okay, and we'll see, we'll be able to identify who they are, but with the first 2 people to lock this in, we will be giving you the second month as well, okay? So with that being said, folks, let's talk about quickly, we got about 5 minutes left. You are going to be receiving 8 live market online Forex sessions per month with 2 of MTI's analysts. So in these bi-monthly live sessions, understand you are going to learn directly from our live analysts about how you can potentially mimic their Forex success. Understand how to avoid making costly mistakes. Learn how past history repeats future profit potential. Discover different ROI boosting strategies to accelerate your trading account. So as I mentioned, it's not just the London Breakout. If you like strategies during the day, for those of you that honestly want to be a Forex trader one day, how many of you would like to have these these lessons archived for you forever so that you can literally just learn them anytime you want to start trading the market? Because look, And you're also going to be able to pick their their brain in live Q&A sessions as well. You are going to be gaining exclusive access to market analysis by receiving one Forex market preview video each week. These will include the possible trades they're looking to take advantage of, the currency pairs, the strategies, what they're looking to do, and they're also going to be discussing about what's coming up in the market. You're also going to have recorded replays plus ongoing access to both of them. So if for whatever reason you're working, you're unable to make it, no problem. They're all going to be recorded, so you'll be able to go back and extract the knowledge and watch them on your own time. Now, for those of you that get involved, okay, this actually blows my mind, especially for the $27. You're going to receive 4 bonuses for getting involved today. Bonus number 1 is 30 days free of our VIP Analyst On-Demand service. What this is every day you're going to be able to log into a private exclusive room, okay, for our students only, and you're going to be able, every day, our analysts are going to tell you exactly what currency pairs to get into, what to trade, where to get in, where to get out, and also how many pips you could expect to make that day. If you want to, for whatever reason, run a trade by them, you can do so. They'll analyze it with you, give you their perspective on it, and tell you if they think you should or should not place the trade. Bonus 2 is an introduction to currency trading, so you will be receiving 4 Forex lessons by MTI. Bonus 3 is a profit plan consultation call. And bonus number 4 is 10 Keys to Successful Forex Trading ebook by Jared Martinez. All right? So at this time, folks, what I want to do, awesome, John says just signed up completely. I hope I'm one of the first. I want to remind you all, you are going to be receiving 30-day money-back guarantee. All you have to do is click the link, and once again, Reed sent that out. I'm sending it out again. At this time, let me ask you, folks, type in Y for yes or type in the word me if you are taking advantage of this, just to quickly recognize you and congratulate you. Jason here says 352 pips in 7 days, not too bad. Yeah, that's over $3,000 in a week. What's your thoughts? Hey, Mike B says, tell them all that I said Analyst on Demand is priceless. Thanks, Mike. I just did, my friend. All right, so look, FX Caddy says, I've struggled for several months. My rep got me focused. I've made 575 pips in 2 weeks. That's $5,750 US, folks, in half a month. So can you really imagine what it would do for you? And look, for those of you that are even a demo trader, how many of you realize for $27, even if you're trading demo, place demo trade, and get a first-hand view of, a real bird-eyes view of what it's going to be like for you when you do go live. And all you got to do, folks, is I'm basically wrapped up. Click the link, take advantage of it, and I got about 1 to 2 more minutes here. So let me just congratulate the following individuals. John says me. Awesome. Sandy says signed up as well. Awesome. Thanks for letting me know. Isabella says signing up right now. Jacob says I'm in. Mason says me. Alexander says me. Awesome. Daniel, congratulations. Matthew says filling it out right now. Andrew, congratulations. Ted, congratulations. Yeah, hey, Ted, I'm going to chat you as soon as I wrap up, and I'll let you know, all right, brother? So once again, for those of you that are taking advantage of it, congratulations. And the last thing I'll kind of wrap up with before bringing Reed back on is this. If you all like the fact that this morning alone we made 50 pips or over $500 US in a matter of 3 hours, is that worth $27 to you, especially when you have a 30-day 100% money back guarantee?